Rabbi Twerski, when you write down about the inner dialogue in your head, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I made a mistake, oh, what an idiot I am. What does that do for you when a person records that in their journal, the times that their inner dialogue, inner critic, criticize them? How does that then play itself out when you review that later on? How does that help you check out your self-esteem?
Good. I think that's an excellent example. You write down, I did an idiotic thing, I'm stupid, right? And if you don't give it any thought, then you go away with the thought, I'm stupid, right? And then when you see at night, when you have a chance, you see, I wasn't stupid at all. This doesn't make me stupid because I made a mistake, right? We all make mistakes, right? And again, perfectionism, I forgot to mention perfectionism. Perfectionism is a low self-esteem kind of thing. Right? I got to do it perfect because I can't tolerate a mistake. What do you want to be? You want to be a malach? Right? The only one who's perfect is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And the rest of us are making mistakes. And to realize that something that we did, we may have an insight a little bit later that it was a foolish thing to do, right? But at the moment, for whatever reason it is, we did something that was stupid. Right? But doing a stupid thing doesn't make you stupid. Right? So, take a very simple thing, okay? I go out to, and I can't open my car, and I don't know what's wrong. Right? And then I take a look, I took the keys to my wife's car. Right? Now, wasn't that a stupid thing to do? Now, it may, at the moment, you may give yourself a decredit because you took your wife's, right? You left the kitchen. I had to make a rule for myself, never to leave the kitchen when there's something on the stove, right? Because otherwise I burn another pot. Right? Have you ever any burnt pots? Right? We've all burned pots. So isn't that a stupid thing to do? Right? Yeah, but there are circumstances that something took your attention away, you got involved with something else. So what happens is when you pick up these things that they're stupid, you find out these are just natural kinds of things. Right? So, you know, what I do now is if I have to leave the house and there's something in these, not the house, if I have to leave the room, have to leave the kitchen, right? I put a rubber band on two of my fingers, right? Or something else to remind me that, right? So you can do kinds of things when you realize that there's been a mistake. But don't take it out on yourself and condemn yourself as being stupid for merely being human. The difference, in some ways we should talk about the difference between guilt and shame. They're both very powerful feelings. Guilt can be very, very helpful. Because guilt is the feeling that I get when I realize I made a mistake, I did something wrong. Right? I've got to be careful that I shouldn't let that happen. And I want to think, why did it happen? But it's a constructive feeling. It also is the kind of thing that will stop me from doing something improper because I don't want to deal with the guilt afterwards. So guilt can be very helpful. But there can be guilt that's pathological, right? And that is to feel guilty for something that you don't have no right to feel guilty about. And that's a very painful thing. Right? A person has particularly a feeling of, had a feeling of anger toward one's parents. Right? And if the person believes this is totally improper, and it's a violation of kibbud av v'em to feel anger toward parents, I'm not sure that it is, right? I think myself I'm a bad person because I felt angry at my parents. Right? I feel a person because I hated something. Right? And you've got to realize what your natural instincts are, and that we are, as I say, we have a neshama and a spirit to try and control our unacceptable drives and our unacceptable behavior and our unacceptable feelings, right? But feelings are not bad. When we come to this, when we talk about children, where a parent may say to themselves, You should never feel that way. What do you want the kid? What do you want from the kid? Tell him how he's going to feel? You can try and tell me what to do about feelings, but you can't tell me that a feeling is bad. A feeling is there. Is the moon good or is it bad? It's there. Feelings, emotions are there. And we are not to be afraid of emotions, but we have to have enough confidence in ourselves that we can control our emotions and not have to take ridiculous methods to. Now, we can get into another whole area of behavior of tzaddikim, which I don't think applies to any of us, because I don't think we're that.
You're going to contrast it with shame?
Okay. Yeah. So, guilt is, I feel bad for what I did. Right? I made a mistake. Right? Shame is, I am a mistake.
I am what?
So,
I am a
guilt
mistake.
is a feeling that is constructive. It leads you to do tshuva, leads you to avoid a kind of behavior that will give you the painful feeling, so guilt is constructive. Shame is when you feel bad of something that you had no control over. For example, bad desires. Someone once asked, one of the Mefarshim asked, when the Torah says, "Lo sachamod," you should not desire your neighbor's wife. Right? So what do you mean you should not desire? You're going to tell me how I'm supposed to feel? What happens if I have that desire? If I have the desire for the neighbor's property, the neighbor's things, the neighbor's cow, the neighbor's wife, am I over on lo sachamod? Right? So the Even Ezra, there's a wonderful explanation for that. He says, if a person is very greedy, he gives a different mashal, but this one is a little. A person is very greedy and he's money hungry, and he'll go to any degree, any extent to get money. Right? Then he finds out that the scientists discovered that on a certain star, there's tons of gold and tons of diamonds, and you can walk off with them. You know the person isn't going to give a second thought to that, because those stars are thousands of light years away. Right? He said, you don't desire anything that you don't have its opportunity to get. So the Even Ezra says, if you really can control yourself to know that you will not kill, right, and that you will not commit adultery, right, and that you will not steal, if you can commit yourself to absolute observance of that, then lo sachmod is a natural consequence. It's not saying you shall not, but you will not. You will not desire anything that's out of your reach. Therefore, if you desire something, then you got to realize something's wrong. I have not made a complete commitment on so guilt is when you've done something which is improper, and it's something that you can handle, something you can take care of, something that you've learned from, and avoid repeating it again. We'll get a little to a greater interpretation of what the tshuva is about, because I think tshuva is extremely important. But the feeling itself is not something that a person should feel guilty for, and the feeling that a person has, I am ashamed of myself for having this feeling, that's a destructive shame. Because there's nothing that I can do about that, about having this feeling, other than, like the Even Ezra says, making sure that you take commitments that will never allow you to act on it.